Hi everyone, welcome back to Miss Hannah's At Home Science Lab. I have my chocolate lab partner with me today. You'll be working for 5 stars throughout the lesson. You can earn 5 stars by answering questions and paying attention to the lesson. Let's get started. First, we will watch this video to make a prediction about what this lesson will be about today.
Look at all this trash, Moby. Dear Tim and Moby, people keep telling us to save the planet. But what can I do to help the environment? From Bjorn. That is a great question. 3 of the best ways I can think of are conserving, cleaning up, and chiming in. Conserving means using less of things like energy and manufactured goods. Cleaning up means cleaning up after yourself for sure, but also after others when you can. And chiming in, that means you should speak up about protecting the environment.
Well, for many thousands of years, humans have been using the Earth's natural resources, things like the air we breathe and the water we drink.
But we've only made a major impact on the environment over the last 200 years or so. For example, we began burning fossil fuels like coal and petroleum during the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries. Not only was this the beginning of pollution as we know it, it also marked the start of a huge population boom. Between 1800 and the present, the world population shot up from 1 billion to 7.7 billion. The more people there are on the planet, the more natural resources we use, the more chemicals we release, and the more waste we produce. Well, there are lots of reasons why this is bad for the planet, and us. For instance, whole forests have been cut down in order to produce wood for homes, furniture, and paper. Destroying forests also destroys the homes of animals and other wildlife, which can cause organisms to go extinct. And trees themselves are important to our health. Plants get rid of carbon dioxide and produce the oxygen we breathe, so we need to have them around. Yeah, lots of the stuff we buy every day messes up the planet too. Take the plastic containers that so many things come in. It takes a lot of oil to make just a little plastic. Oil and other fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy. There's only so much on the planet. Plus, when these fuels are burned, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane are produced. These pollutants don't just damage our atmosphere and our lungs, they also contribute to global warming. That's an unnatural increase in the world's temperature that scientists agree may soon have drastic effects on the planet. You got that right. Humans make a lot of waste. In the United States alone, every person produces about 2 kilograms, or 4.5 pounds of trash every day. That's over 725 kilograms every year. Most of our trash ends up in landfills. Landfills usually do a good job of keeping pollutants from getting into the ground, but it can still happen. Garbage can sit in a landfill for hundreds of years or more before it decomposes. And some of the things we throw out, like batteries, bleach, medicine, and other household items, can be really hazardous. Right, it does seem overwhelming sometimes. But every person can make a real difference, so let's go over those 3 C's again. First, try to conserve. Simple things like turning off lights you're not really using or turning your thermostat down just a few degrees in the winter can save energy and decrease fossil fuel use. Another easy thing you can do is buy less stuff, especially things that come in unnecessary packaging. Next is cleaning up. It seems pretty simple, but just putting your waste in the right place can make all the difference. Garbage not only looks bad, it can leak dangerous chemicals into the ground, which can eventually get into the water we drink. You can also try to find a volunteer group in your area that organizes trash cleanup days in parks or along highways. Lastly, you can chime in. Tell your parents and friends how important saving the environment is to you. You can ask them to try to get their energy from companies that sell environmentally friendly fuels, things like wind power or biodiesel. You can also make your voice heard by writing to your local and national government representatives and telling them that you support environmentally friendly practices. This is our planet, and we have to take care of it. I wonder how long it'll take us to go through the whole beach. Hey, that's not garbage, that's my towel.
That video with me, guys. So let's hop back over and make a prediction. First, we will review the steps to testing an idea. We will listen to the question, then we will make a prediction. We will analyze the information, and we will check to make a conclusion. All right, based on the video we watched, what do you predict that we will learn about today? Rainforest, fire safety, or conservation? If you said conservation, you are correct. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to say, I can identify and carry out methods of preserving natural resources, such as recycling, composting, and conserving water. The essential questions that you'll be able to answer are, how can I reduce or make less pollution? And what can I do to conserve my local community? Before continuing, let's review the steps for synthesizing knowledge. We will listen to the teachers, listen to the whole lesson. We'll think about this information right now in this lesson, and then we'll think about this information later on, maybe when we are out and about, outside. You guys will see what I mean in just a minute. All right, our vocabulary word for today is conservation. Conservation. Can you circle conservation? Conservation is the protection of things found in nature. It requires the sensible use of all Earth's natural resources like water, soil, minerals, wildlife, and forests. All right, so our diversity piece today will be included in the main part of our lesson because we are going to be learning about conservation efforts in our community. Let's take a virtual field trip to Renaissance Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, right here where we live. Throughout this lesson, it is very important that we think like a conservationist. A conservationist is a person who advocates or acts for the protection and preservation of the environment and wildlife. First, let's assess the various types of pollution that can be observed or seen at Renaissance Park. All right, here are the different types of pollution that we have learned about. We have learned about air pollution. You can circle air pollution. Water pollution. You can circle water pollution. Soil and land pollution. Noise pollution. And light pollution. This lesson will be interactive, so you will circle all of these types of pollution that you observe in the pictures. Circle all that apply. In some cases, you can observe more than one type of pollution, so you can circle all of those. All right, let's get ready to observe. Okay, what do you observe in this picture? You see a creek, you see the water, not looking so hot. You can see the soil around the water is not really looking great either. Go ahead and use your annotation feature to make your guess. All right, and you guys will be pausing throughout. I won't stop to tell you each time, but you just can know that when you come to a picture, you can pause and talk about it and make your prediction. Okay, so in this one, I definitely see water pollution, and I even see a bit of land or soil pollution. Okay, what do we see here? Go ahead and make your prediction. Okay, here I see, first of all, I see litter in there. I see a bottle right here. And the water, it's, not looking super clean. That litter is really what stands out to me. So I'm going to go with water pollution. I see water pollution. Okay, take a second to observe here. Pause and make your prediction. Okay, so here I see litter in a couple of different places. I also see this soil that is not looking so hot, but litter, that is land pollution. Land pollution. All right, this is not something that we have talked about a whole lot, but I also observed deforestation at Renaissance Park, so where trees had been cut down. A lot of conservationists, they advocate or try to encourage people to not cut down trees, especially in areas where that takes away the animals' homes or the animals' habitats. All right, let's continue. What do you observe here? Okay, it's hard to tell from the picture, but there were a lot of tractors out there, and you know what? They were making a ton of noise. It was very loud there. Also, they were tearing down the trees to make this area, so deforestation. But to add to that, we also can see where there are lights up here, lights that are not really shielded, so can even add in some light pollution there. Speaking of lights, here's a closer picture. Yes, so light pollution is what you can observe here. What do you see in this picture? All right, so I see litter, first of all, and this is the water, the creek. It has some green gunk in there. The soil is not looking very healthy. Here I would circle both land pollution and water pollution. I'd hate to be a fish in that little stream. Oof. Okay, what do you see here? Notice this moving tractor. Noise pollution. Noise pollution. Okay, this was just a random big old hunk of metal from a train car that was just sitting there, taking up space. All right, I consider that land pollution. It is really a big piece of litter is what it was. Okay, check this out. This is shimmery. It looks like it has some oil and some chemicals in there. What do you think that what type of pollution would this be? This is land or soil pollution. Somebody didn't pick up their dog poop. So we have some more land pollution. Right, so here we have light pollution. Light pollution. These lights are not shielded, they are very bright. And that really interferes with animals' patterns because they're looking for the moonlight, trying to follow that. And here's this very distracting, super bright light. All right, so now that we have observed the different types of pollution at Renaissance Park, let's next observe the conservation efforts that are currently in place at Renaissance Park. So that means, what are they doing to try to make the pollution better, to try to help the park? Let's observe the conservation efforts. Well, first of all, I noticed some signs that said conservation area. It says no mowing and no cutting and no vehicles allowed. So a conservation area is an area of land that is protected and that cannot be built on or used for certain purposes. So Charlotte-Mecklenburg has deemed this a conservation area. I also noticed this sign at Renaissance Park. There are mountain bike trails there, so it says these trails are built and maintained by volunteers. So there are volunteers who come out and do their part to keep up the trail. It says these are your trails. Maintenance is ongoing. So come out once a month and help clear the trails with a friend. Okay, so they have efforts to keep up with the trails, keep them nice and clean, keep them maintained. I also saw that there were a lot of trash cans out. So I see one here, I see one here, there's some even on down. There was a lot of places to throw trash away. Having those out and easily accessible, easy to get to, that cuts back on the likelihood that there's going to be litter all over the park. My chocolate lab partner has fallen asleep on us. All right, I see netting around the drains. Okay, well, this netting had broke, but at one point they were making an effort. Okay, so netting around drains is designed to catch solid pollutants such as plastic, paper, and vegetation that's washed into stormwater drains. So here's a stormwater drain from the road before it's discharged into the natural environment at the downstream end of an outlet area. So basically it's keeping trash and litter out of the stormwater drains, because that stormwater ends up going back into creeks and rivers, and so it's an effort to try to keep the litter out of the water, essentially. All right, I also noticed some erosion control netting next to the stream. So here you can see the netting. This reduces soil erosion and provides a good environment for vegetative growth, so a good environment for plants to grow. It protects the soil from wind and water damage. All right, and I saw that there were some tools out there to measure the water quality, so they are really keeping an eye on this. This thing right here, it can measure the temperature, the pH levels, or how acidic the water is. It can look at how much oxygen and how many sediments or pollutants are in the water. All right, and finally, I saw an effort to have people clean up after their pets using doggy bags. Alrighty, so let's discuss what you can do to help reduce the amount of pollution at your local parks and in your local community. Well, you can recycle, you can help pick up litter, you can compost, you can turn off the lights, or be conscious about how much energy you're using in your home. You can also carpool. Just for fun, can you guys find the Hulk? Okay, here it is, in case you were having trouble finding it. When I was walking out there, I saw it flying away. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, is this an owl? I don't know, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell from that picture. Okay, what type of adaptation is this? What do you think it is? If you said camouflage, you are correct. Look at how much this bird looks like the leaves and trees around it. Okay, if you found this lesson to be interesting, then you may consider a career in this field. Let's check out some conservationists.
I want to be a leader in managing populations of fish so that I can help provide people around the world with the aquatic resources and the food that they need.
I really want to work in the public health and safety field. I think it's important to educate people and make them more aware of how much the environment affects their daily lives.
I want to work for the U.S. Forest Service so I can protect the great forests we have in the U.S. So many forests are being destroyed due to pests, invasive species, and acid rain, and I want to stop that from happening.
I hope to remediate water resources so people and wildlife have clean water they can drink and depend on.
I hope to be in the field conducting research on habitats and ecosystems so I can spark policymakers to make decisions which will protect wildlife species.
I hope I can inspire my community to value their environment so that natural resources are around for generations to come.
I want to help children understand their natural world and equip them to make informed decisions about natural resource management.
My name is Thomas Harris.
Emily Forbes.
Deacon Green.
Austin Heine.
Gretchen Stokes.
Erin Lineberger.
Maji Nichols.
Amelia Forbes, and I'm a senior in natural resources,
Forest Management.
environmental technology and management.
Fisheries, wildlife, and conservation biology.
In my first semester, I was able to get out into the field and remove invasive species from a trail and measure and sample trees.
In HAZWOPER class, you got to do a mock scenario on campus where you got to go out and set up the contamination table and put on the suits and go out and assess like a fake spill.
In Ginger Lab, we take long walks through the woods, learning everything about every tree in North Carolina, or at least 180 of them.
In Wildlife Summer Camp, we do mist netting, wildlife ID, dendrology, electrofishing, fish ID, trawling, river assessments, habitat management, and stream management. It's all really intense, we're always active, and it's a lot of fun.
It's our job to assess the impacts of our actions. We have a responsibility to future generations to develop land in sustainable ways that are good for both people, ecosystems, and the wildlife within them.
What do you guys think? Is that something you would be interested in doing for a career? All right, let's review. Before we get into the questions, I want you to review the steps to critical thinking and problem solving. So we will listen to the question, listen to all of the answer choices. We will think about our choices, and then we'll answer by choosing just one of the answer choices. All right, fill in the blank. The protection of things found in nature is littering, conservation, or deforestation. If you said conservation, you are correct. A conservation area is a store, protected, or a junkyard. If you said protected, you are correct. What can I do to help conserve local parks? Use plastic bags, start a fire, or pick up litter. If you said pick up litter, you are correct. All right, way to go, guys. Hopefully you were able to earn your 5 stars for the lesson. And don't forget to complete your post-test in a Google form. And then I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time at Miss Hannah's At Home Science Lab. Bye.